Felix readings. This is my channel, okay? I want to say first and foremost, um, I just watched the autopsy results on Nolan Wells, okay? And I wrote some things down. Also, I have openings for readings. So if you need a reading, you can go to my email address, okay, to schedule a reading with me. I have openings, okay. Um, it's very interesting. Yesterday, I talked to one of my I call him my spiritual advisor, okay. We work together, okay, not just work together. He's the real deal. He's the truth. And I have a video where I'm recording it and you see me catching the Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit is already within me. And I start shaking on the video. Because he was praying over me. Okay? He has Cuban and African in him. So I just watched this NAACP press conference, which was on July 22nd of 2026. And I feel like some of these events, a lot of these events that are happening in the black community are rituals. I also feel like these are stage events. Now, can I say this again? Stage events. When I mean stage events, you guys, I'm in my bed, okay? This is a reading from my bed, okay? So I spoke with one of my friends yesterday. His English is not good, but he has the Holy Spirit in him. Real discernment. And all this energy that I'm pulling, right, is, and I will share a short where you even see the light in the video, okay? And he's praying and he's talking to me. So no. So what is happening is this is a mass energy harvesting on the melanated copper people. Okay. A massive energy harvesting and rituals being done. Okay. On the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Okay. Hey, you guys. So this is a massive energy harvesting on the melanated copper people. If you look at all the stories that are, there's so many stories of black people being ritually, these are rituals. They're performing rituals. They know what they're doing. Hey Loretta. They know exactly what they're doing. It's a form of energy harvesting. So when we talk about energy harvesting, when you have emotions from something that you perceive, okay, and that you are listening to, okay, on a frequency, okay, they want to harvest. So when I say energy harvesting is off of your emotions. Your reaction. Your energy, your heart is your true currency. So if they can affect your heart, they can affect your energy. Because where energy goes, energy flows. So I look at many cases that I have read on, my friends. Many cases that I actually read on. And I go back to all these cases because I've noticed a pattern. Okay? A pattern. Every week, every month, there is some black person that's being hung from a tree or being ritualized killed. So this is why I'm saying they're coming after the melanated communities. Yes, somebody says I've been saying this for a long time, that they profit off the pain of black folks. Melanin people, they're profiting off not just physically but spiritually. This is spiritual. The physical, you can see it. The spiritual is where some of you cannot see it. This is why you have to have awareness of what is going on. This is on a mass scale of energy harvesting. They are harvesting melanated copper beings, energy. And they think they're going to win. But they're not going to win. 222, 141, and 212. My phone just went off. Because it's the truth. My other phone just made a sound. Just confirming what I'm speaking about. This is a mass energy harvesting on a massive scale. And the black melanated copper people are being targeted on a massive scale. They need your energy to survive. Do you understand what I'm saying? They need your energy to survive. We are the life force. We are the prana. I look at many cases that I have read on. And there's a pattern in all these cases. There's a repeating pattern. In all these cases, is one, they never get justice. Two, these are all ritualistic. This is rituals that are being performed on a daily basis. Seen and unseen. When you don't have awareness consciously, they're playing in your faces. I think about many cases I've read on. The texture and the energy, the pattern in the energy. There's no texture in the energy. There's a pattern in their energy. There's a texture. It's a familiar pattern. These are psyops. Psyops. Shaquilla, let's take Shaquilla Robinson case for entertainment purposes. A snuff film. And people watching a snuff film. She was snuffed out. And I told you, I'm the first psychic that said there was more video out there. Then they sold the video on the black markets. Same thing with Nolan Wells. See, you guys didn't get the memo. Aren't you seeing a pattern here? Every week, every month, there is some black melanated copper person being taken out some kind of way, horrifically. And they're saying his organs was not there. His throat wasn't even there. So his whole face. See, a lot of great people that were very spiritual and have very spiritual high awareness was taken out. Because if they were here today, they will be speaking the same thing I'm speaking. These are psyops. The government is playing with you guys. And this is spiritual. Because I'm reading the energy and I'm like, the very first day that I read the energy, they're photoshopping, they're adding, they're editing. This is a threat to the American society. Because you don't even know what's real and what's not. Are these rituals? Yes, they're rituals. Are they targeting certain individuals? Yes. But is this a form of psyops? Yes. And this is a form of, if we want to say psyops, right? This is a form of mind control psyops. And they have other names for this. So this is a mind control psyop on the melanated copper beings. In real time. But if you don't have awareness of this, you'll be out here believing you'll be out here believing anything and everything. I haven't even got out of bed. I got out of bed, used the bathroom, got me some coffee, and I watched this. Hey, JR. So what is being presented to us by melanated and copper people and other races, because other races are observing this and retaining this information just like we're observing it and we're retaining it and we're giving energy to it. Where energy flows, energy goes. And the most effective way to play on somebody's energy is your emotions, your thoughts, what you listen to. Because you start vibrating on that frequency. Thank you for the super chats. Low vibration. Because if they can get you on a lower vibration they can control and manipulate the way you think, the way you process, the way you receive information. And play on your emotions, your intelligence, your awareness. A lot of events that we're seeing are psyops, but a lot of events are actually people's being ritualistically taken out. I told you guys, and if you go back to my previous videos, the our bloodline is our original coded DNA, where it stores memories, where it stores information. And you have to have awareness of what you're really perceiving. Because I can perceive that this event really happened, but I wasn't there. I even remote viewed this energy. And every time I notice a pattern in all these cases that I have did, I see a bunch of people sitting at a table just coming up with shit to cipher the energy. They need your energy to survive. It's like a vampire. But the vampire needs your energy so they can breathe, so they can have prana. Because if not, they can't even breathe. They won't even have prana. This is what is happening right now. This is a form of energy harvesting on a high scale, my friends. And remember, you are an observer of your reality, or what you perceive that is your reality. So they have to give you something to perceive. This is where, yes, energetic vampires. This is what they're doing. They're ciphering your energy. This is why some of you guys may feel tired. You feel drained because you're on a lower frequency. Shit, that day I had to call my friend. Okay, because I'm like, I'm reading this energy. This is why I say when you're in the spiritual community, you got to know what you're doing. There's a lot of people out here that don't even know what they're doing. Because when you level up spiritually and have more spiritual awareness, the attacks are even stronger. Each time you level up with awareness. The key is to having awareness. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you have the knowledge of it, the knowledge is already there. Once you have the awareness of it, it's already there. Yes, new levels bring new devils. Do you understand what I'm saying here? New levels bring new devils. So this is a form of energy harvesting on the larger scale. There was a memo sent out. The 250th anniversary was a day of energy harvesting. Okay, just like all these other holidays and rituals and snuff films and all this other shit that's going on, and people's life are being taken. And they're coming after people that are here for a reason. And they're taking their life because they know why they're here. Now, in the autopsy, they said that the brain was removed. They said that the throat, so basically his whole head. His organs was removed. What do you think they did with his organs? I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. Organ harvesting is the thing. Your skin is worth more than your organs. They use your skin in these computers and these phones. Melanated copper people, they use your skin and your organs for many different things. You are the original blueprint. That is why they're coming after our melanated copper people so hard, because they know that we are the original blueprints. So every week, every month, you're going to hear about another person being hung or being killed. So this is ritual. This is a ritual. They're doing, and the thing about it is, these people that are doing the rituals, they're harvesting the energy of everybody else. Hey, TJ. So, and so much symbolism. If you watch and you're aware of this, there's so much symbolism in this. It's unfucking real. And then these colleges, these hospitals, these doctors, these lawyers, they're all connected. They're coming for your children. I mean, caseworkers. I mean, these are they take your children. They sacrifice your children to their gods on a massive scale. Or whoever they worship out here. But then they tell you that your ancestral worship is evil. That's why I said pay attention. Pay attention. Observe. Question. Critically think. Don't believe everything you hear and see. It's a projection. And what happens is when you feed into this projection, they're harvesting your energy so they can keep surviving and feeding off of you. Okay, this is what they do. Okay, so this is ritualistic. Everything about this is ritualistic. The organs is ritualistic. The throat is ritualistic. We already know. And then they're editing and all these, they're editing and adding. I mean, it's crazy. The news conference was also strange. Everything is strange about this. These are psyops. These are psyops. This is why you see people acting strange and weird. It's psyops. They're up in the ante of these psyops. But they're targeting the melanated and copper communities. These events are psyops. But these people that are being taken out are being taken out ritualistically. And the reason why they're doing these psyops, okay, so pay attention. Let's take Shaquilla Robinson's case for let's just say hers, right? They recorded all these rituals are being recorded and being out. They're on the dark web somewhere. Trust me and believe me. So they're also profiting off of this. So it's not just about energy harvesting, it's about profiting. Black Lives Matters is not run by a black corporation. It's run by a bunch of white men. They steal everything from you. Your identity, your inheritance, your destiny, everything. This is what we're witnessing, and this is what we're having awareness of. These are psyops. Because I'm reading these energies, and I notice a pattern in all these. All these reads that I have noticed a pattern. There is a pattern in all these. The pattern in all these cases are ritualistic harvesting of energy. Also, these are ritualistic killing. These are also snuff shit. Hey Jada, this is some sick shit. Somebody said absolutely true. Better start healing yourself childhood traumas because things are changing and there's no going back. Exactly. This is why the healing has to happen within, so it can show without. You have to heal within, so it can reflect without. We are a reflection. And where we're at internally reflects it reflects inward and then it reflects outward. As within, so without. As above, so below. So below, as above. This is spiritual. And if you don't have the spiritual awareness of what is really happening, these are psyops. Now, who is controlling these psyops, we already know. These are cultists. These are the American associations. They're playing on you. They're playing on you like a puppet, like a sheep to be slaughtered. Because if they keep showing you these they keep showing you these images and they keep showing you and you're observing this, you're taking in the information and what has happened to you internally. You're angry, you're tired, you're fucking frustrated, you're confused. You're asleep. Yes. I'm glad you said that, TJ. We need to do our own rituals to counter these demons. Yes. We do. This is why I said you need to go back to your old ways and practice your original rights and your original knowledge that's already within you. But they tell you that your ways of your ritualistic alchemy is evil. No, it's not evil. It's the right way. It's the only way, my friends. They are all devils, all of them. I agree wholeheartedly. Melanated people need to stop airing their pain to the public, need to organize within and stop letting the enemy know every move. Exactly. Move in silence. Do what you gotta do. Go back to the old way, your ancestral way. Tap into that. Because you'll start seeing clearer. And a lot of things that is false will be removed. Where you can see clear. Okay, your vision is clear. It's not distorted. Yes, either you're high vibrational or you're not. You're done. You're done for. Please believe me. Yes. So when I say even vibrational, there's different vibrations that you can be on. When you're on a vibration of deceitfulness, deception, confusion, no awareness, you're on a lower vibration. If you can't see past the illusions, you are on a lower vibration. These are illusions out here. Delusions and illusions. I'm reading on the energy. I'm remote viewing the energy. There's a pattern recognition in the energy. So every week you're going to hear about some black person being hung, murdered, slaughtered, or ritually taken out. It's never going to stop. So each time you're hearing this on the news, television, they're telling you their vision. They're instilling their vision within you. And you're taking all this in. And you're affected by it emotionally, spiritually, and physically. That is where they win. But if you take this information in and you observe it and you have awareness, wait, something's not right here. I know exactly what's going on. They're energy harvesting in the massive scale. They're deceiving me. They're being deceitful. I'm not going to let this affect me, but I'm going to be aware of it. That it's happening. So is this energy harvesting? Is this a psyop on a higher scale? Yes, this is. The reason why a lot of people's souls are old souls. And they have to cipher off your energy so they can survive. Their survival depends on your energy. Your prana. That's the only way they can survive. And their destiny swapping your destiny, okay? Because a lot of your destinies, you're supposed to be in a higher position as far as financially, okay? Is being manipulated. So they can be millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires. So there's destiny swapping going on. They're swapping destinies with people. So they can have somebody else's abundance and you have shit. That's why I said you must fight them on the spiritual. This is where it will be won. And it will trickle down to the physical. Because the physical is connected to the spiritual. Everything is done in the spiritual realm. And then it comes down to the physical realm. So they have to cipher your energy so they can still stay alive. A lot of these souls are old souls. They just switch bodies. And they don't have souls. So they need a host. The host is your physical body to live off of. And they're getting desperate. Somebody says, yes, I feel these occultists are getting desperate because they know more of us are aware and calling them out. Yes. Their time is running out, and that's why they're looking to go to the bunkers and other realms. Yes. That's even when you go outside, you notice the sun is different. S-U-N. Because the original sun, I've seen at least 5 or 6 of them. That's why in China, they're making their own sun. Because they're trying to cloak the original. They're trying to take the original. But they can't. And they know that they're barely surviving. Somebody says, because people make deals with these dark energies, entities, not knowing it follows you in life, your family, children, yes, your entire bloodline. It does. We are the sun. Sun. S-U-N, S-O-N. We are the sun. We're the original blueprints. We're the original DNA. The melanated copper, we are the original. Everything that was made after is a blueprint. But this does affect everybody. People are on their spiritual journey and they're seeking everything outwards, and everything that you need is within you. You have to trust in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Everything's about propaganda. Everything's about money. Everything's about money and propaganda. Money's not real, but you give the money, you give the money energy. You give it energy. And you have to pay your bills. Say they put you in a position where you have to rely and depend on them. And that's why you need to put yourself in a position where you don't have to rely and depend on them. Yes, and a lot of people sign contracts in in the astral and the physical. I was just talking to my friend about this. And there's contracts you're not even knowing you're signing contracts. That's the crazy thing about it. And when you exchange the money, that's why I said all money is not good money. Even the exchange of money is energy, because you're putting energy into the money. Oh, the manipulation of the weather to cause chaos and destruction in the human race for other world reset. Yes, that is what they want to do. It's not a natural events that are happening. These are man-made events that are happening. The reason why these events are happening is so they can take and steal and destroy what is not rightfully theirs. And we are going to take back what is rightfully ours. And that's why we're having awareness. Somebody says, hello, I really like what you're doing. I see Nolan has some decompression, but even after 2 days in the water, that should have not happened. Everything about it, especially in the water, was cold for our own inheritance and our own audience. Yes. So what we're witnessing out here on a massive scale is rituals, and they're throwing the rituals in our faces. This is what we're observing, and we're observing this. So when you observe something, you're observing it from your own perspective. Always remember that. You have to have observer of your reality to make your reality even real. And they know this. Yes, and be careful because you don't know what you're signing. You can be signing something from your grandparents' generation, and your grandparents didn't even know what they were signing or even reading at that time. Yes, and they'll have you sign something that is. I remember, I'll never forget. I think somebody sent me an email, and I think it was an email they sent me, and they wanted me to sign some shit. I didn't sign it because I already knew in my spirit that something wasn't right. And then they tell you that your ancestral worship is evil. No, my friends. You need to go and your ancestral worship, you need to practice that on a daily basis, and you need to know who you are. Because it's been going on for far too long, and the people that speak out about this, they're being taken out. They did a lot of rituals and sacrifices to keep us down, but we still rise. Yes, we still rise because we have awareness and we know what the fuck is going on out here. We rise each time because they can't keep us down. We're too strong spiritually. If you knew the weight you carry in the spiritual realm is so profound and so powerful, if you knew what you carry in the spiritual realm, the weight you carry, what I mean the weight is who you are in the spiritual. They can't fuck with you in the spiritual. That's why they fuck with you in the physical. Because they'll get eaten up in the spiritual. And this is why we're rising as a collective consciously. And we're having awareness. This is why they have to build these fucking machines and all this kind of shit. And keep us on this loop. See, when you look at religion, okay, say we're because when you ascend and transcend, they're going home. Okay, they're going back to the original. Okay, where there's peace, there's no chaos, there's no confusion, right? So when you have a funeral and you're in a cemetery, right? This is a money making business. The educational system is false. It's to enslave you mentally, physically, and spiritually. The food that we ingest in our physical bodies. This is why a lot of us, our body is rejecting people, places, and things. Because spiritually it doesn't feel right, because it's not right. I meant to say decompose after 2 days. Yes. What happened to Nolan was ritual. It was a ritual. And somebody got something out of this ritual. Hey, Sandra. Somebody got something out of this ritual. So when people are performing rituals with a human sacrifice, they're getting something from it. Right? They're swapping destinies, or they're getting that person's energy so they can keep surviving. Look how some of these people look out here. They sign contracts. Okay, I need to be a millionaire and billionaire, so I need to go out here and instead of sacrificing this lamb, this sheep, this goat, this chicken, I need to go out here and sacrifice this child or this adult. This melanated copper being because of who they are and the weight they carry in the spiritual. They have to be melanated and copper because the weight they carry in the spiritual is so powerful. So they have to be the sacrificial lamb. Jen has allegedly exposed the connection with Nolan psyops to Emmett Till was staged. Ladies, gentlemen, fake. Yeah, so it's a psyop. I'm exposing it. A lot of these cases are psyops. This is why people are acting strange and weird. The photos are being edited and manipulated. And we also have the boles. We gotta look at the boles in this energy too, not just these Caucasoids, but we need to look at these niggerzoids. These niggerzoids, not just the Caucasoids, the niggerzoids. These boles. And I know some of them that watch my channel. Their children, their grandchildren will never prosper. They're putting your children on the slave block, the slave auction block to be sacrificed. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, TJ. How do they even know those organs were Nolan's? His organs were removed from his physical body. His body was not in that casket. Pay attention. Every week, every month, every year, every day, there's going to be something about some black person being hung from a tree, some black person being sacrificed. They're energy harvesting on a massive scale, and these are psyops. But there is sacrificial rituals being performed. And they need you as a sacrificial lamb to perform these rituals. Because the human body is the ultimate sacrifice. Just like Cain and Abel, Al Sharpton. If you know the story about Cain and Abel, 303. When the one brother sacrificed his own brother, and he said, I'm sacrificing my brother for God. What God are they sacrificing for? It's not the person I know, the spirit I know. This is spiritual. When you use the word loosely of gods or Jesus or what gods or God, plural, what God are they talking to? The Bible wasn't written for you. Our ancestors never even had a Bible. We had scrolls. The Bible was rewritten many times by thieves, murderers. The Caucasoids, their God. Baal, yes. Somebody says those people who look like us but are not us, black nobles, aka the Black Hand. Yes, we need to call those motherfuckers out, because I'm sick of those motherfuckers too. And if they're watching my channel, I'm sick of y'all motherfucking Negroes. Niggers, you're the niggers. But they think because they have some kind of education or they're on this. The original Boles, if you know anything about the original Boles, they were helping the black community. Now they're sacrificing the motherfucking melanated fucking communities. And they wear their colors proud. Them purples, they rocking them purples and them tans like no tomorrow. They're letting you know who they are, who they're repping. And I don't trust none of those motherfuckers. Cause I'd be damned if I'll be the sheep. The Bible clearly says it was Baal. We just blind to read all of it. Yes. I was just watching, I have the Ethiopian Bible here, and I also was watching the documentary on the Ethiopian. It's so interesting because the perception of death. The Ethiopian Bible has never been taken from or subtracted from. Never been added or subtracted. When you have to add something or subtract something, you're altering it. Things were written down in scrolls. Things were written on, painted in pictures, or on rocks and all kinds of shit. That's how we were communicating. We were communicating with nature. We are one with nature. You guys forgot that. You have forgotten that. We wasn't reading no King James. You know who the fuck King James was? A murderer. A pedophile. Yes, I'm going to do a reading on that later on today about this holographic stimulation. Yes, and he was gay too. Thank you for saying that. He was gay as a blade, but he was a pedophile. He was a murderer. And that's what we got here in America. We got a fucking bunch of pedophiles. And this is all over. This is why they go to the Caribbean islands. This is why they go to Africa. This is why they come to America, to prey on us. So you cannot be the prey, my friends. And they're coming after our communities with these fucking psyops. And the Boles are involved in this shit. Oprah is a Bole. She rocks that purple all the time. So we got the white supremacists working with the fucking Boles. Ain't that some motherfucking shit? And they're all on the same accord, but your ass is not on the same accord because you can't even fucking see it. If you look at all these cases, there's a pattern. If you go to the Trayvon Martin case, look at the clothing these people are wearing. If you go to the Ashley Janae Robertson case, look at the clothes the parents are wearing. The parents are not living in the same household, but they both happen to have tan on during their interview. Now, if you don't tell me this is some stage motherfucking shit, y'all are out your fucking minds. I'm noticing a pattern here. And then with Shaquilla at her funeral, they actually had her with no shirt on and her hair covering her body. That's also symbolism. Who would put a photo of their child with no fucking clothes on and her hair covering her fucking breasts? And then they made a video, a snuff video. This is all these events are pre-planned and pre-organized. They took her to a foreign land and knew what they was going to do to her. These people have no souls. We're not dealing with souls, people with souls. See, they have to steal the souls to continue to survive. You have the white supremacists working with the Boles. And the Boles are giving y'all up on the auction block. I'll be damned. Yes, get out in nature, connect, ocean, rivers, lakes, even the fucking trees. They have names. They move. They're listening. This is why we can't communicate with, it's banded for us to communicate with dolphins. Think about this shit. Dolphins? My son was telling me that. I was like, is this for real or is this a fucking joke? Because they can communicate with us. Even the fucking birds, the real birds, not the fake birds. They have fake birds out here watching your asses. Then they have real birds. Trees are the animals, the dirt of the land. Remember, they remember everything. They see everything, they hear everything, they remember everything. Everything. When I tell you everything. The yes, some are genetically modified animals. So some of the birds and the fleas, the little fucking fleas and flies that are flying around, they are spying devices to spy on your motherfucking ass. And some of the birds are too. And some are real and some are fake. I never forget when I was taking a hike with, well, walk with my daughter, and some said, look up, and I seen that fake ass bird. I'm like, what the fuck? The bird wasn't real. The bird was a spying bird. They using birds. They use them. They have a spying device they use where they, when you go hunting. They also have the birds when you go hunting. They have cameras in the eyes and shit. Because if you can tap into the energy of the animals, the real animals, not the false animals, they're actually communicating with you. But you just have to be quiet and listen. When my son said that you can't communicate, they outlawed and banned communication with dolphins. I said, why is that? Because they are communicating just on a different frequency. Yet, because dolphins are very intelligent by frequency used by our government. Happy, who is Anunnaki and evil, white people, black people, or aliens, Anunnakis. Anunnakis. People need to study Enoch and Enel, then Marmaduke, then. Okay, so I'm going to say these names. Somebody says, okay, so people need to study Enki and Enlil and Mar Marmaduke, and then what's the other one? Akrnaten, and how the Europeans changed religion. Enoch switched the language long before the Bible. Yes, he did. He did. And what's so interesting is the Greeks stole everything from the Egyptians. Shit is crazy. And then they stole it and they used it. My gosh, they stole it. And then they took and said that this was something that it originated from the Greek and Romans, which is a fucking lie. They got it from the Egyptians. And then they use your shit and turn it against you to sacrifice your ass. This knowledge that was already inherited from your ancestors. And you're so confused. You're so fucking confused out here. They're sitting here bowing down to the Black Madonna, the Black Jesus, and in America they're sitting here bowing down to a white Jesus. And then when you exit out of your physical body and you see this white Jesus, you're following this white Jesus, and then he's putting you back on this goddamn loop. It's just crazy shit out here. Yes, Kush is modern day Sudan. So when you go to Egypt, okay, this is why people will say there's Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. The Sudanians are the original Egyptians, and so are the Ethiopians. It goes back to Kush, what was originally Kush. And America is the original land. You're thinking it's some far out place. No. It's here. That's why all this shit is going down in America. And they're still striving, and you're still trying to fucking survive out here in Samaria. And if you look even Mayan, and then you got people out here pretending they're the real Israelites, like the ones in Brooklyn, out here pretending. If you look at their faces, you guys, look at their fucking faces. Look at their faces. And these rabbis know this shit. The Beta Jews are in Ethiopia. They're the original descent. If you go back and you look at even the Mayans and the Aztec, when Dr. CB said that he went to Mexico and that was the only place where they were eating clean, let's listen to this for a second. Dr. CB said the only place in the world that he went to, he was from Honduras, and they ate clean, was Mexico. Why do you think they're over there trying to destroy Mexico? He said this out his own words. He didn't have a degree in a PhD in medicine, but he knew the truth. And when you know the truth, they take your ass out of here. Because when you know the truth, you speak the truth, and you're living the truth, and you're awakening people to this knowledge and this wisdom and this discernment, they have to get rid of you. Because you're having people think. And then with the critical thinking and the awareness of the truth, and then they'll send your own family members to murder your ass. They penetrate your family. This is just like that reading I did on young Pharaoh. See, young Pharaoh wasn't spiritually grounded because he would have knew all the motherfucking snakes around his ass. He was too much in his fucking ego. And that's how they got him. The three-letter agency infiltrated his ass. We could bring Bob Marley. You know Bob Marley was a palm reader. Did you guys know that? They poisoned him with soccer. They found what he loved the most. And the guy came in as a reporter. He was like, oh, Bob, I'm a reporter. I just want to follow you. I'm going to write a book on your life story. And by the way, here's some soccer shoes with some poison in it. And he wound up getting cancer. And he was trying to bring the world together as one. They want to divide us. You can divide people, you can conquer them. But if we're all on the same accord, it doesn't matter what nationality, what background you come from, and we're all on the same accord consciously, they can't penetrate. This is why you have to be spiritually grounded. Because young Pharaoh was not spiritually grounded. He was in his ego. They were blowing his head up too much. They were fogging his clarity, his eyes, his sight. So he entrusted these people in his home. Everybody ain't coming in my home. This is my home. This is my safe space. That's why when you're strong in the spirit and in the flesh, no, if you're strong in the spirit, you'll be strong in the flesh. Because he would have been able to discern. And I believe young Bob Marley knew that they were coming for him. That's why he did that concert. Just like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a bow leg too. But that last speech that he gave, he was defeated. He already knew they were coming for him, and he was already being defeated. They were blackmailing his ass too. Dr. CB said the only place in the world that the people eat fresh was Mexico. But you don't see people there. You see people leaving Mexico, and there's people that are going to Mexico. Because a lot of shit you see on television vision about Mexico, because they're telling you their fucking vision so you don't go over there and learn and eat right. He said that's the only place, and he comes from Honduras. That speaks fucking volumes when he said that. When he said that thing, when he said that the only place in the world that he's been where they're eating right, where he went and he learned was in Mexico. That's why they're trying to destroy Mexico. Young Pharaoh was drugged. They got him. You remember when young Pharaoh, for entertainment purposes, when young Pharaoh came on his live and said his security guard was MIA? And then they admitted his ass in the fucking hospital. That's when they got him. But that white lady that entered his life, he was doing the yoga with the bitch and everything. I read her energy. She works for the 3-letter company. He was infiltrated. But see, he was too much in his ego where he couldn't see straight. And he was getting that money. And he wasn't seeing straight. Yes, they put cancer in Nestle Marley's football boots, his soccer shoes. The CIA agent said it on his deathbed that they particularly sent him there as a fucking photographer, and he's the one that gave Bob Marley those soccer shoes that had poison in it. And he wound up getting that in his skin. It penetrated in his skin. Yes, he confessed that on his deathbed because he knew that when he ascended or transcended, he might not even transcend and ascend it. So that's why he came out and said that on his deathbed, because that's something he had to live with. That he actually poisoned and killed Bob Marley. And he was a CIA agent. And Left Eye went over there. Yes, they killed her in Honduras because she was coming back telling about how they were treating her for what that football player gave her. And she couldn't speak on that. Oh, we gotta take her out. The pharmaceutical companies ain't making no money. The medical companies are not making no money. We gotta take her out. She's talking too much. And how she was healed. And he didn't even have a PhD. There's a lady in Mexico, she was healing with her hands. They took her ass out. See, and what they do is they come over there and they get the information, the doctors, the scientists, and then they get all the information. Even Wesley, I did a reading on her. If you see that short, my whole face changed. It was her. She was speaking. They went over there, Marina. They took her knowledge. And then they took her life. She was left in poverty, and then they mummified her in a statue. Some sick shit, these motherfuckers. And we got Tupac, we got Biggie, we got Nipsey. See, if Nipsey was tapped into his heritage, but they even send family they even send family. That's the fucking crazy thing. Family members after your ass. And Nipsey was going to do a documentary on Dr. Sebi. And they had to take him out before that documentary came out because the pharmaceuticals will lose money. These medical corporations will lose money. It's a business. The funeral's a business. The pharmaceuticals a business. The schools are business. They're indoctrinating your children. They're brainwashing your children. It's called psychological warfare, my friends, on a daily basis. imprints, and many others. In your school system, you're being psychological indoctrined, psychological warfare. In the school systems. From the first time you enter that school system to the time you enter, you have been indoctrinated and brainwashed. And there's a narrative of their history that they're making up. So your children believe that they were fucking slaves, that your children believe that they are nobody. Nick Cannon, he's not going to pick up that documentary. He's too scared. He's a coward. Who do you think runs Hollywood? Who do you think all these people are scared of? Said O'Connor, yes. Who do you think these people are scared of? Think about it. All these people under mind control, and they have chips in their bodies. I read it for entertainment purposes. Who do you think they're scared of? The military complex, the American Association. That's who they're scared of. That's who's running Hollywood. If you don't know that, that's who these people are scared of, and that's facts. They're taking the children away. You got Justin Bieber's child over here with the fucking Kardashians. What the fuck? So he can be submissive and he can listen. So he can be submissive. And all these people in Hollywood, I feel bad for some of them, to be honest, because they're pimping them out. They're high-end fucking prostitutes. Illuminati means to illuminate. What is hidden, just like Revelations means that it's something that's hidden, just illuminating it. They're putting it right in front of your face. From the moment these so-called spiritual people and celebrities together, I don't trust none of them. I don't trust none of them. Yes, we're the true illuminated ones. They have handlers, so they are being pimped out. So think of high-end prostitution with the 3-letter word. Yes, they're a part of it. Mango. That's who's running the show. And there's a common denominator in all this energy. There's a pattern here. In all these readings, there's a fucking pattern. So every week you'll see some black child being hung. You'll be seeing some black child being sacrificed. This is what is going on. They have taken our inheritance, and we must take this motherfucking shit back. What is rightfully ours. They're living off of our inheritance. You're out here struggling, working fucking 9 to 5. And they have taken what is rightfully yours. So it is your right to take rightfully what is that was yours back. Your true inheritance. Because you don't even know this is your true inheritance that they have stolen from your ass. It's your inheritance. It's not their inheritance. It's rightfully yours. And our DNA holds knowledge. We are the ancestors. We are the karma. That will never go away. So you guys need to tap into your true inheritance. And I'm going to leave it right there. They're thieves. They're thieves. They have stolen your spiritual inheritance. And you should, and we will get that shit back because we're already getting it back. And we are the motherfucking karma. They're billionaires and trillionaires off of stealing your shit. What was rightfully your fucking yours while you're out here begging for a fucking penny or a fucking dollar. This is your true inheritance, and you will claim back what is yours, what is rightfully yours. We sat on thrones. We had whole fucking communities. We are the key. We hold the knowledge. We hold the wisdom. It's just you having awareness who you are and what is rightfully yours. And you take back what is rightfully yours. And how you take that back is on the spiritual, is where you tap into your ancestral ways. There is a spiritual war that's been they've been fighting the spiritual war for so long. A war you don't even see that's happening. And we will prevail and we will win. And we will get back what is rightfully ours. Yes, so my son just told me about some gaming shit. So yes, they're coming for our youth. Because the youth is the future, right? Jen, do you think they're sending negative frequencies? Yeah. So when you have those negative thoughts, they're not your thoughts. That's why they have the cell towers. And I'm going to do a reading on the CERN. Scientists have to make a machine to connect to source. And we're already connected to source. They have to make a machine to connect to source, which we are already connected to source because source is within us. They can't connect to source. So they have to make a machine to connect to source. And we are the source. That's why they have to use our energy to keep that machine going. They put it in movies. They're telling you. So by a way of telling you, they think their hands are clean. But they're not clean. They think by telling you what they're doing in these movies, in these television, they think by telling you that they're going to have some mercy on them. Somebody's going to have some mercy on them. See, they're bounded in this realm. That's why they keep reincarnating. Their soul is so old. If you look at them in the spiritual, some of them don't even look. They look sickly. I see sickly. It looks crazy, okay? Yes, so so Stranger Things, let me tell you. So in the movie Stranger Things, when I'm glad you guys said that. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate that. So the reincarnation loop is a trap, it's a loop, and it's a belt, right? I see this thing that keeps turning and it never stops turning. It never stops turning. This thing never stops turning. And the souls are just keep coming right back in. They're being trapped when they leave the physical body because they believe that this Jesus that appears to them is the savior, and it's a trap. And then they'll send a family member. You don't go to the light, you go to the dark. To go through the dark is to get to the lights. But you fear the darkness. The darkness is your true self. To get to the real light, because what you're seeing is a false light. I'm going to do a video on this because that scientist that I was channeling, she made me do that spiral. And in my tribe, that spiral, you see it in many tribes, this spiral, right? It's about the spirituality and the reincarnation cycle. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, JR. Needs our support. Yes, thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate it. Yeah, they look sickly. I have no makeup on. I have no makeup on, no lashes. It's my face. I look fine, cause I am fine. So let's talk about Stranger Things, and then I'm gonna end this. So on Stranger Things, 11 was shutting down the CERN. What it means when she was shutting down the CERN, right, was consciously, as a collective, okay, as a collective energy. And I don't, it doesn't matter what background you come from, what race or whatever, as a collective consciously of having awareness, you can shut down the machine, you can shut down their whole programming as a collective. And this is by raising the vibration of the consciousness. Thank you, TJ, for the super chats. So raising your consciousness of awareness and having awareness of what is really going on is how we're going to break down the false structure. And this is as a collective consciously. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of background, what kind of race you come from. As a collective consciously, because we all can consciously, telepathically communicate on a conscious scale, and we can raise the vibration to break down the stimulation or the false reality or the false structure or infrastructure, because it's false. But you remember, you have to have a observer of your reality, so you are the observer of your reality. So if you are an observer of your reality, right, and you're perceiving that this reality that is being shown on television, of their vision that they are showing you, and you're perceiving that this reality is real, you will believe that it's real. So if you're a child and you're showing this white Jesus and this Bible since a childhood, you're going to believe that this is real because this is what you've been told, and this is what you've been taught, and this is what you have been indoctrinated in. And this is what has been instilled in you. And you question what is real and what is not. And this is where the critical thinking comes in. This is where you have to think for yourself and have your own perception of your own reality, not their perception of the reality they want you to perceive. Because this is what is happening. It's a projection of their reality that they want you to be in and they want you to perceive. But it's a projection. So this is why you have to have your own perception of your own true reality. And all this is internal. And when it's internal, it will project external. And when you're aware of this consciously, you're critically thinking that this shit doesn't make sense, because it's not. Doesn't make sense, doesn't feel right. This is why you need to trust your intuition, your inner knowing. You're out here searching for outside of you when it's already within you. Because I was that person seeking and searching, and I never found it outside of me. It was all already within me. And I had to activate it. I had to trust in myself. I had to believe in myself. And know that everything was already within me. This knowledge, this wisdom. But you can still learn from other people. But you have to look at it objectively. You have to be open to receive it and also open to dissect it. What you are searching for is not without, it's within. So you go to these churches where you have these pastors, these false prophets taking the pulpit, not even teaching you how to fight spiritually. The unseen and the seen. They tell you to go home and pray, and this shall go away. Praying is not going to make this go away. You can pray and pray and pray, but you must know what you're coming up against. I never forget, Geno Jennings is a pastor in Philadelphia. My dad was a member of his church. I went to his church, okay? There was a guy there that actually was possessed. He couldn't even hold the demon back. Because there was an entity in the physical body, which the entity that is in the physical body can be removed. This is why we need these churches to be talking about spiritual warfare and how to fight this spiritual warfare. Don't take the pulpit unless you know what you're talking about and how to fight this spiritually. They're saying, turn the other cheek, go home and pray. Do you think these people are going home and praying? And they're also praying too. But they're praying to these false gods. And in the Bible it says, thank you for saying that. In the Bible it says, God be telling us to serve no other God besides him because he's a jealous God. Why would our loving, eternal Jah or God or Jesus be a jealous God? That's a false God. A God would not be jealous. To serve no other God besides him because he's a jealous God. Why would he be jealous? He would be of love. He would be of harmony. He would be of no confusion. He would be of truth. He would be of understanding. He would be of wisdom. He would be of forgiveness. It's the Holy Spirit is a consciousness that is within you. And praying for money. Why are we praying for money? Your needs will be met when you're living and moving right. Your needs will be met. There's times where I was broke. I didn't know where money was coming from, but money was coming. Because I wasn't chasing money. I know money's energy. So no matter what, I will be taken care of. Because I'm moving and I'm speaking and I'm living and I'm in my truth. So I will always be provided for. And that's facts. This is why the destiny swaps are happening, because they want to steal your inheritance. Yes, I'm provided for, but I should have more than I have now. So should you. That's why I said my Bob Marley said it best. He said my richness is in spirit because he knew that you had to be of spirit to fully get your richnesses. Elohim means God. They don't know. Yes, there's many gods, and this is where people don't understand that there's many false teaching. And they took some of the scriptures and they put it in their, they put it, yes, plural. They put it and they manipulated it. Why would the all-loving spirit be jealous? Why would they be jealous? Why would they want chaos? Why would they want confusion? Why would they want lust? Why would they want envy? Why would they want all this stuff? If this was a loving God. So the God they're serving is not a loving God or a loving Jesus. And then when people exit out their physical body, they see this Jesus. Oh, this is the Jesus I've been praying to all my life. Oh, he's going to save me. He's going to take me to eternal paradise. And then you go to the light, you follow this false Jesus, and he's bringing you right back into this same reincarnation cycle, and you're coming back in. And then they're erasing your whole memory where you don't even remember. Straight back to, yes, it's like a loop. It keeps going in circles and circles. I always, in the spiritual, I see this loop, and this loop is just turning and 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 turning, and the shit never stops turning. Meanwhile, Jesus is living his best life on earth. Hello. Hello. These pastors they're living in $1 million homes, driving Mercedes Benz, sitting on the live television and YouTube and TikTok and all this. Oh, believe what I say, but I'm sitting in this brand new BMW. Donate to my cause because I'm preaching the real gospel, the word, out of the holy book. Believe what I say. I have the Holy Spirit in me. You know somebody that got the Holy Spirit in them. I was on the phone with my friend, and man, whew, my whole body was moving. I recorded it. He's praying over me. The Holy Spirit was moving through me. Because it's already within. It's not without, it's within, my friends. I've been around people that had the Holy Spirit in them. I was doing a reading, and the lady said, "Damn, her sister." I was doing a reading for her. Her sister was like, "Oh my gosh, I felt everything that I was saying." I knew nothing about these people. I was just doing the reading, and the sister was like, "I felt." She says, "Oh my God, she said, I feel everything." I didn't know nothing about her family. I'm just a messenger. I'm not proclaiming I'm a prophet. I'm not proclaiming I'm God. I'm not proclaiming none of that shit. Because I'm not. I'm just a messenger. That's it. I'm not no God. I'm not no prophet. I'm just a messenger. That's it. I'm not proclaiming I'm no God. Let me repeat that. I'm not proclaiming I'm no God. I'm not proclaiming that I'm a prophet. I am proclaiming that I am a messenger. That's it. I'm Jennifer. That's it. I am of spirit and I am of flesh. But I will always be of spirit, not of flesh. You see me in the flesh, but I am of spirit. And so are you. So remember who you are. Your ancestral way is not wicked. Your ancestral way is the way to the truth. It's the only way out. Is there a higher consciousness? Yes. Is spirituality real? Yes. Yes, I see a lot of similarities to their god in Baal and Moloch. They're all the same. They're all the same. And this is why you have this radical Christianity where these people are so radical in their belief system because they're so indoctrinated where they can't even critical think because they're under a spell. They can't even question what is the truth and what is a lie. Some people out here have attachments that they know nothing of, don't even know how to fight it. This is why I say you have to tap into your spirituality. When my friend was talking to me, I was shaking. That's the Holy Spirit in me. But there is people that are possessed. Possession is very rare, but it happens. And you actually seen it live on television through a sermon that Geno Jennings had. There was an actual possession. And Geno couldn't even fight that demon. It took about 5 or 6 or probably 8 of those, 9 of those men to hold that guy back. And he was in the form of the flesh, but he was of spirit. There was a spirit that entered the physical body. And he wanted to attack Geno Jennings. Geno Jennings put his hand out to hold the demon back. He was speaking and spitting. That spitting, this is what the demons do. When they talk, they spit. That's another way you know you're around a demon. They talk, there's spit that's coming out their mouth. They're just spitting. That spit just comes out their mouth. You ever be around somebody, every time they talk, that spit is just flying out? I remember being around my kid's father's cousin. Every time he talked, there was spit coming out his mouth. He was possessed. Somebody says God promised the land of Canaan and Abraham to and his ancestors. Baal and Canaanite, the same God. Yes. That's why they mock us, because they think we're stupid. Do you see the similarities between the god of Baal, Moloch? Yes, I do see the similarities. They're Satanists. Yes, they're Satanists. They're Luciferians. They're Christians. I mean, Christians are under a spell out here. And we're the time where people will question their own reality. Because the technology, the AI, it will make you perceive that something in front of you is real and it's not. Somebody says, yes, but even as a child, I always question why would I be a living God that needs blood sacrifice. Thank you. That's why when I went to the church that day, I didn't understand at that time. I went to a Coptic Orthodox church. Coptic just means Egyptian. It is the same thing as the Ethiopian Orthodox. They're the same thing. So The bread is the body and the wine is the blood. Why would you need to drink the blood and eat the body of somebody that been sacrificed? You see this in the Catholicism, you see this in the Abrahamic religion. Why would you need to do that? How are you honoring somebody that was sacrificed by drinking the wine and eating the bread? The bread represents the body and the wine represents the blood. Why would you need to do that? What God are you serving? And I was mad that day. I was crying. I never forgot. If you guys remember in that video, I came back from the church, and the pastor denied me the bread and the wine. I had my hair wrapped up in a scarf, and I could see the spirit on that pastor. I could see the demon in that pastor handing out the bread and the wine that day. And he denied me because it wasn't meant for me to have. And what you notice about the Abrahamic religions, even the Catholicism, everybody drinks from the same cup in the Abrahamic religion. So every mouth is drinking from the same cup. The only time that they changed that is when COVID hit, where people were using the plastic cups, but they were all drinking from the same cup. So it's like an oath. We're all giving the same oath to this God. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And the energy I got off of that guy was I'd never seen him before. And he's over a chapter in Texas of the Southern Coptic Orthodox faith. He's a pedo. And I was talking to my friend about this. I said something wasn't right with that guy. Because I didn't see his flesh, I seen his spirit. And come to find out, the church that he in the region that he governs in the Coptic Orthodox faith, which Coptic just means Egyptian. That's all it means. That he had allegations of molestation. And he's still a pastor of the Coptic Orthodox faith in the southern region. So all the southern regions of America, he is the head pastor of the southern region churches of the Coptic Orthodox faith. So I said there was something not right in his spirit. So I looked him up, and there was allegations against him with younger girls. So he's a pedophile. So I didn't see his flesh, I seen his spirit. Yes, everything's a ritual. Everything. So I noticed in the Catholicism, and if you look at the Abrahamic religions, like you look at the Abrahamic, so the Abrahamic religions will be the Judaism, would be the Orthodox, okay? They are the Abrahamic religions, right? And the Christian religions, right? They would fall under the Abrahamic. But I'm talking about the old Abrahamic religions would be the Orthodox and would be the Catholicism. And all their holidays are rituals. So Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, all these holidays are all ritualistic holidays. They celebrate it on their calendar. This is why the Pope of the Catholic Church changed the calendar to a Gregorian calendar. And if you know what a Gregorian calendar is a Catholic calendar, a Catholicism. So on these days that you are celebrating these rituals and you are spending your hard-earned money to give a gift, you're actually celebrating the rituals with them. Even your birthday. Even your birthday. The Roman calendar is a Saturn worship. Yes, it is. And that is why we have so many different calendars. You even have what's name calendars, occultist calendars. I have occultist calendars to see what they're doing on their days, their sacrificial rituals, and what days will these rituals be performed. They follow moon cycles, sun cycles. Okay, but this is why the Catholicism. I remember being in I tell you guys a story. I remember being in a Catholic school, and I got kicked out. I think I was in elementary school or something like that. I was kicked out. Okay. The nuns, I wasn't it was crazy. Okay. And the shit they were teaching, I'm like, this is not. And see, I've been to many dominations searching and seeking my truth. So I've been to, listen to this, I've been to Catholic churches, I've been to Orthodox churches, I've been to Baptist churches, I've been to Brethren churches. Brethren churches are the Amish Mennonite churches. Um, the only churches I don't think I've ever been to was Lutheran, Mormon, Methodist, or Sonicology, and definitely not the worship of Baal. Okay, the Baphomet. Okay, but in all these churches, right, I never found my spirituality. Never, because my spirituality was already within me. I was out there searching and seeking, and I never found the truth out there. The truth I found was within me when I started going internal instead of going external. Yes, Saturn is short for Satan. That's why they worship the planet Saturn. Because Saturn is Satan. That's why if you look at Santa Claus, that is Satan. The Roman calendar is called the Gregorian calendar. We have different calendars. See, we never went off of the Gregorian calendar. Into the Roman church, the Catholic churches said, "Oh, we're going to follow this Gregorian calendar. Okay, we're going to follow their ritualistic calendar." Because we have the Julius calendar, we have the Adam calendar. There's many calendars out there. So they wanted us all to be on the same accord. This is why if you see in different places, you have different time zones, because they want all those people in that region to be on the same frequency. So if you're in the northeast, you're in a different frequency. If you're in the mountain time, you're in a different frequency. If you're in the mountain, eastern, and central, you're all on different frequencies. So you're all on different time zones. So they, as a collective, they can cipher that energy and use it and manipulate it to what they want it for. Yes, my dad is very interesting. My dad even stopped celebrating his birthday. He started celebrating everything. His birthday, holidays. I mean, when I tell you spiritually tapped in, he stopped celebrating all that. Because we're taught that, oh, okay, it's Christmas, and you know what, it's Satan, it's their holidays. Even Halloween is their holiday. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're all their holidays. Even if you look at the Ethiopian calendar, they're not even in the same year as us. They're in the year 2017. We're in the year of 2026. And there's something going on with time right now. And yesterday I was on my live and my time was going forward and backwards. So I'm like, who is controlling my time here? On my lives, on my YouTube channel. They were on my lives, they make my time go backwards and forwards. And I'm like, am I controlling that? No, I'm not. They're manipulating it. And I was looking into it last night because when I got off my live and I logged back in, I also screenshot this in many videos, you guys, to show you how they were running my time backwards and my time forward. Somebody says, in my country, underage girls don't get justice at all. Yes, TJ, I mentioned that. So they are running the time backwards and forwards. This is what the CERN machine was. The CERN machine was to manipulate time. This is why I'm going to do a video later today on, remember when I asked that girl, the scientist, that they took her life, are we the inner earth or are we in the outer earth? So I had to actually draw it, and I'm going to use the pendulum so she can show me, because what she was showing me was we were in the inner earth. So I need to do it again, because I drew the spiral and I asked her, where are we at? Are we in the inner or are we in the outer? And she kept spinning the pendulum in the middle. So that means we're in the inner earth. So I'm going to pull that energy today again and do it again with the pendulum. And I'm going to draw the circle so she can tell us exactly where we're at. Because we're all, yes, we're jumping timelines all over the place. I mean, we're all over the goddamn place. Because I could be talking to somebody and I'm a day ahead or a week ahead. And I'm like, how is this possible? And then sometimes I go on and I'm like 3 weeks, I'm like a month or a year or 3 years. So they're actually controlling time. So they can go have you go forward or they can have you go backwards. So they're shifting your reality. So how was Ethiopia in the year 2017 and we're in the year 2026? Y'all need to question that. On the Ethiopian calendar, they're in the year of 2017. So how is this possible if they're in the year of 2017 and we're in the year of 2026? So yes, there's some timeline jumping going on, and it's all over the place. If you also notice something with this CERN also messed with your something rhythm, circadian rhythm. So some of you guys are up at night and sleeping during the day. Have you guys noticed that? Because I have. Circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm is, okay, so what is a circadian rhythm? Okay, it's at the beginning increase clearly that a circadian disruption in a human can result in broad and significant consequences such as mental and physical health. So your Circadian rhythm or your circadian function are often accompanied by sleep-awake disturbance, which are also contribute to poor health outcomes. But what if that's not the case? What if your circadian rhythm is being delayed or being messed with or being manipulated with? Because I believe it is. Sleep is massively important, and if you mess with somebody's circadian rhythm, so when the light comes out in the morning, what that tells your body automatically through your circadian rhythm to wake up. When the sun goes down, it tells your circadian rhythm what to go to sleep. But I don't think we're really sleeping. So since the sun has been shut off, I've noticed the circadian rhythm has been changed. So some of you guys, your sleep has changed. So instead of you sleeping at night, you're sleeping during the day. It's the reverse. And you don't understand why this is happening. Is because your circadian rhythm, okay, or your electromagnetic field, or your urethra field, I said urethra, your magnetic field. We all have a magnetic field. Okay, it's our astral field. This is why we have all these towers. Because we are receivers. So we were receiving information we were receiving information constantly. Okay, think of your brain as a receiver. And we're not using our full brain. Okay, we're only using a portion of our brain. Yes, so sleep deprivation can cause psychosis. And they know this. So that CERN has something to do with our circadian rhythm. I'm telling you, it does. And also the CERN, they're trying to tap into the spiritual. I'm going to do a read on the CERN. I haven't touched the CERN, but I'm coming for the CERN. Okay. So when you have sleep deprivation, it causes psychosis. But it also causes what? Not just psychosis, where you don't have time to think straight, right? Because you're perceiving like, okay, you're not getting enough rest to even think. So you're being sleep deprived. You're being deprived of something that is vital to you, of your survival. And I'm telling you, it's something with the circadian rhythm. Somebody, JR said, there's people who have stayed up for many days at times and they've never been the same. Yes, and also the brain fog. That's where the brain fog comes in. That's where the brain fog is, where they have you under a spell. Like the brain fog reminds me of like you're frozen kind of. So when you have, and also brain fog has you confused, where you're not seeing straight. You're not retaining or receiving, right? But it has something to do with the circadian rhythm. I'm telling you. So you have people that are on different timelines. So when you speak to people and they can't perceive what you're speaking, or the language that you're speaking, or the information that you're speaking, they can't attain it or receive it because they're not on the same timeline. They're on a different timeline. And some people are under a spell. So when you're under a spell as a massive, this is why they have the concerts. They have to put people all in one arena to, as a collective, consciously put them under a spell. It's like, and then all of a sudden you just do this and they move. But then you do this and they're asleep. And this is where sound comes in. This is where the environment comes in. David Bland, a magician, said till this day his sleep has been affected. Yeah, I don't know who David Bland is, but I can look him up. So this is called gang stalking. So gang stalk is happening. So when you think of gang stalking, it takes a group of people to stalk you. It is illegal for any institution or establishment to gang stalk you. It is illegal. But they pick particular people to gang stalk. So with gang stalk comes with psychological warfare. So psychologically, they'll mess with you. They'll mess with your I just said it. The rhythm, your circadian rhythm. They even try to poison you. They follow you. They do all kinds of shit. And people think people are crazy when they're saying they're being gang stalked. They say, oh, this person is schizophrenic. But what's happening is this person is tapping into different dimensions, multiple dimensions at one time. And they don't know how to channel it and let it out. Like balance it out. Let's put balance it out. Because they're receiving too much information. And some of their thoughts is not even their own thoughts. So they're getting thoughts that are being projected on them and sent to them as signals. This is why they have the towers, the 5G, the 6G, the 7G, the 8G. So your brain is the receiver. So you're receiving information and you're sending out information. And then also they're using this technology to send in information and send out information. And this has to do with the circadian rhythm. Something about that CERN has to do with the circadian rhythm. Yes, similar to David Wilcock. If you've seen David Wilcock, they were depleting him of his energy. He was under psychological warfare. He was being gang stalked. So when you're being gang stalked, they fracture your perception of reality. And psychologically, they're sending, you're receiving information that's not even true. It's their thoughts that your brain is the receiver. Think of the internet. So they just and it also affects your physical body. Because your immune system is connected to the receiver. So autoimmune systems are coming from the radiation and the psychological warfare from these towers. Because your immune system, you're fighting against your own immune system. That's not normal. Your body should not be fighting against your own goddamn body. The only time that happens if it's something foreign or it's something that is not supposed to be inside your body or in your electric or arthritic field. Yes, as soon as he wrote the book about the Black Jesus, they took his life. And there's a lot of tocos out here. And if you watch at every video that, I don't know much about David, but when I seen that one video, he was losing his hair. I mean, it was crazy. They come after you in your food. And people say when they're being gang stalked, they lock them up in mental hospitals and institutions. And these people know that that they're being this is psychological warfare. And they're having so many psychologists that are involved in this because they know they're having the same patients saying the same fucking shit. So there has to be truth to it. And then they say, oh no, they're just crazy. We'll just lock them up in a mental hospital. But they know this is psychological. And that's why that lady came out and she talked about gang stalking and the people behind gang stalking. And I'm going to do a reading on her energy. She went to Congress with the shit. Yeah, the voice to skull technology is real. It's real. That's why I tell people sometimes when I do readings, it's not you, it's not your voice you're hearing from. It's their voice. And they also can project things in front of you that is not even really there. So something visual where you can actually visualize it, and they can also send like you're hearing whole fucking conversations. You're like, what the fuck? And then when you look outside your window, there's nobody fucking outside the motherfucker. See, they were playing with his mental. It's called psychological warfare. That's what the shit is. And it's called voice to skull technology. Because the skull is your brain. They have to penetrate through there. Somebody says, when I was asleep, I was really in a long tunnel. There were so many beings walking, but they had no face. It was like a liminal space that was leading to a hexagon with so many doors. Yes, I know about that, Mango. A lot of people are experiencing that, where they're walking like they could be in a forest. They could be in a goddamn grocery store. It's just bizarre shit. And they have no faces. And the hectagon, the octagon, all that. What's the Mexican woman that was thrown into a psych hospital after speaking out about the abuse of the elites? Oh, what's her name? She was a model in Mexico. Damn, what is her name? I did a reading on her. What is that lady's name? She was a Mexican model. She was in a hotel in Mexico, and she was messing with a billionaire. I know what billionaire she was messing with, and she was messing with the dad and the son, but the dad likes transgenders, and he also controls technology, and he's not even he's really he's Lebanese, he's Lebanesian, but he lives in Mexico. And he pretends to be Mexican, but he's really he's Lebanese background, Lebanon, the country of Lebanon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not Maria Felix. Maria Felix was different. Maria Felix practiced Aifa religion. Okay, I believe she was a male. Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, Lebanese. But I can't remember that it wasn't Maria Felix. It was Maria Felix was the actress from Mexico. I believe she was born into a caught family. Because if you really look at Maria, she doesn't look feminine to me. I'm sorry, okay? This is for entertainment purposes. And Maria was practicing like Santeria, voodoo, and stuff like that. But she was born in a cult family. I'm talking about like a Mason family, okay? A Satanist family. Maria was born into. Okay, so I don't know if they transgendered her when she was in the womb or when she was out the womb. I don't know, okay? But she went back to her original religion, her ancestral ways. She should have run, her ancestral ways. I did a reading on her, but the lady, the person you're talking about that came out the hotel and said that they're eating the children and stuff like that. That she was a model from Mexico, and then the cops gripped her ass up, and took her right back in there. I did that reading on her. She was telling the truth. And some of these people in the psych hospitals, they have the same story. So imagine you're going in front of a psychiatrist and you're telling them the same story, that I've been abused, I've been in rituals and stuff like that, and they're locking them in asylums because they don't want, and they're telling these psychiatrists that work for these associations the same story. So there's some truth to the stories. And then you have these children telling these stories, and they're like, all these children just lying. They don't know what they're talking about. And so they're just locking them up in psych wards. The shit is crazy out here. Oh, Michael Jamal Warner's wife is suing his mother. I didn't know that. Yes, Gabriel, thank you. Gabriel Rico. Did you see the horror on her face? The horror on her face. And did you see her body? That's what I noticed. I noticed the horror on her face. I read the energy. She was not lying. And the her arms. It's like she didn't eat. She wasn't eating. Because she knew what they was eating. And this is for entertainment purposes. Or they either, yeah, Gabriel Rico Jimenez. I think that's her name. And there's nothing on her life. But she was a model. But who she was affiliated with was interesting. There are so many that talk about World War II and the psych ward. Oh shit. So you know how in Germany how the Nazis would run all these experimental things on the Jewish people. So when the Holocaust ended for entertainment purposes, those same German doctors came to America and started working for the three-letter agencies. And what they were using to experiment over there in Germany, they started doing here in the United States. So they weren't just killing off those Jewish people, they were also doing psychological warfare, occultist practices. Hitler was big in occultist practice. I don't know if y'all know that. And they're still doing it today. And Israel is very interesting because Israel is a part of the United States. It's a part of it, and they're still doing it. You know what's so interesting? So this is for entertainment purposes, when they were interviewing the people of Israel, some of those people, they don't have souls. When they were giving the interview and I seen them, I was like, what the fuck? They're not human. Okay? They're not human. Then they have a guy that's over there he's from Pennsylvania, pretending to be the minister, not in Houghton, whatever his name is. He's from Pennsylvania. He's not Jewish. It's called Operation Paperclip. He's not Jewish. And they're changing their names. So what they were doing was they were taking on Jewish names and coming into America. They took the scientists and the doctors and used them in the three-letter companies here in the United States. And they were coming through the damn Catholic churches. And they were taking these people's information and using it. This is so crazy. And that's probably why they keep talking about Hitler's time. And I don't believe Hitler died in that bunker. I believe Hitler was still alive. Yeah, BB was born in Pennsylvania. And he's not even Jewish. He's Polish or something like that. And they have him running the whole damn Israel. Like he was born in Israel. It's fucking crazy. He went to school in Pennsylvania. BB went to school in Pennsylvania. So they took this man out of a university in Pennsylvania and put his ass in Israel and say, go run Israel. You can't even make this shit up. And pretend that you're Jewish. And he's not even Jewish. That's why in Israel you can't take a DNA test. Do you know that? Because if they take a DNA test, they'll know they're not Jewish. Yeah, he was living in Argentina and the Amazon. That's why they burned the Amazon down. They love South America. They were going to Argentina, they were going to Brazil, they were all over South America. Think about it. Why would Hitler and the Nazis go to South America? Why did they choose South America? You have to ask yourself that. Why they choose South America? Why they choose the Amazon? Why they choose South America, Argentina, Brazil? Why did they choose Chile, Peru, all those places? Why did they choose those places? Because those places are sacred places. That's why they chose those places to practice their occultism. And DNA is banned in Israel. Because if they took a DNA test, they would know their fucking asses are they're not true Jewish people. And then the Jewish people that they killed off, they took on their identity. They changed their names. Why would you have to change your name unless you're hiding something? You're hiding your true identity. We didn't see Hitler's body. He didn't die. Those doctors, those scientists, they came to America. See, they take on these last names to lie and deceive you. They were taking on real Jewish last names. The Jews fled Israel. Where's the real place of Israel? Yeah, Ashkenazis, you got Ashkenazi Jews, you got Hasidic Jews. There's many different forms of Judaism. Somebody says the Motok experiment. Exactly. And they experimented on them. And a lot of the experiment was psychological warfare. Deprive them of food. How would they act if they were deprived of the food? How would they act if they're in this condition? How would they act if they were doing rituals? Hitler was into occultism. But they took on Jewish names. And they were coming through. This is the craziest shit. They were taking Jewish names. They were coming through the Catholic churches. The Catholic popes and priests were helping them escape Germany to get to their freedom. So they wouldn't have to. So they wouldn't have to be. They wouldn't have to meet the consequences of what they have done. And some of them they made agreements with. Oh, you come here, and you work for us. Somebody says it is true that Germany actually won World War II. Heard this from a super soldier. And their super soldier program is a program. The military complex is involved in all this, okay? Because all the reads that I'm doing, the military for entertainment purposes is involved in this shit, okay? So, yes, thank you. The wars were all fake. But there was casualties. War is about what? Money. War is about control. War is about power. Nobody wins in war. How can I make money off of these people's pain and sorrow? Think about that. And yes, they were involved. So that's why they have to manipulate the money system to stay in power. They have to manipulate it. taking resources that are free resources from us to control us. Think about that when you drink that bottle of water today. You're paying for water that is free that you can go outside and get. Water. And everybody's allowing this shit to happen until everybody says enough is enough. We will no longer pay rent. We will no longer pay water. We will no longer pay taxes. We will no longer pay for this, and that. There will be no more royal family. After Wesney dies, and I think he might already be dead for entertainment purposes, the royal kingdom in UK, that fake ass bloodline that is not even a royal bloodline, that is a stolen bloodline, there will be no more royal family. Why do you think the son came to America? Harry. Because that bloodline, that false fake ass bloodline that y'all over there, the kings and queens of England, that's not even their, they didn't inherit that bloodline. They stole that motherfucking bloodline. Yes, the Catholic Church owns more land in the United States than anybody, and they also are over maritime law. If you look at who governs the body of water, the body of water is governed by somebody different than land. When you go into water, that is a different governing than land. There's different rules over land in the body of water. And that's why if you see in Catholicism, there be generations of families that work for these Catholic priests in Rome, because they'll have people come in there questioning like what the fuck is going on. They're all under a spell. So they'll have generations and generations that will work as servitude because they believe that they're going to die and go to heaven. Yes, this is a business. These are corporations. And they're all working together. When Queen Elizabeth fell, that was the last of the monarchy. But I want you to pay attention to their faces. Their faces, they're not human. They're not like us. They're a different species. But they take on a physical form. Yeah, I believe he's long gone. That's why I believe that day when his son walked into to get the whatever you call that, the son walked in there, and it was interesting when he was walking in there, he had a red cape on, right? Yeah, reptilians. So he walked in there with the red cape. There was somebody standing beside him. Not in the physical. That's not, when they talk about the royal bloodline, they're not the royal bloodline. They're the royal bloodline of reptilian beings or other beings. Now you have good reptilians and bad reptilians. Okay, so they're of a different bloodline. They're not from a royal bloodline. They're from a false bloodline to pretend that they're a royal bloodline. So you guys can bow down and serve these motherfuckers. Okay, just saying. Yes, air and water is ruled over by fruits, berries inside at least near the. Yeah, so we're paying for natural resources that we should not be paying for. So think about it. They want you out here starving and survive it. They want you in survival mode because when you're in survival mode, that's all you can think about is surviving. How you're gonna eat, how you're gonna pay your bills. I don't give a fuck anymore about none of that shit. I really don't, to be honest, because I understand where my energy goes, the money will flow. Just to pay my bills. I don't care about none of the other stuff. Yes, you're deserving to have your inheritance. Your inheritance have been stolen from you. So it's time to get your inheritance back. Yes, I do believe that. I do believe that what's coming is definitely water. I've been telling y'all for the longest, the water. The water in the food. Yes, yes, all their symbolisms and everything. Wherever you go in the world, you will see symbols and stuff like that. Yeah, I seen where the reptilian. When he walked in, William walked in, he didn't walk in there by himself. And it's not their spiritual inheritance. They have stole what is not rightfully theirs. That's why they lie about their blood type. They lie about everything because they are not the original queens and kings of this land. They energy swap that shit. Yes, where energy flows is where energy and attention goes. Yes. So I'm going to leave it here, you guys. So we have to take back what is rightfully ours, okay? So thank you guys so much for joining me. This is, hit the like button, you guys. Share this video. Thank you guys so much. They're not the originals. They're not. And you know they're not the originals. Because if they were the originals, they wouldn't have to take. It would already be rightfully theirs. So they have to take so they can say that they're originals. Originals don't have to take. They already know what's rightfully theirs. But you have to remember that you are the original. They're not the original. You are the original. You and I are the original. We don't have to take nothing because it's already ours. They have to because it's not rightfully theirs. So they have to take. Okay. All right. I love you guys. I'm sending you nothing but yes, we are the original blueprint. Remember that. Okay. We are the blueprint. We are the royals. We are the inheritors of this place and many other places. It's our inheritance that was stolen. So we need to get that shit back. Okay? Yes, I will come back on later. I will do a video on, I want to do about the earth, about the inner earth, the outer earth, and all that stuff. But there's a lot of psyops going on, so y'all need to be very careful of these psyops. Because it's going to come a time where you can have a family member right in front of you crying, and it's a holographic projection of a family member. It could be a child, a grandchild, a mother, or father, and you'll think that person is in front of you and not even in front of you. Yes, we're going to do a reading on the CERN too. And we're going to do I want to know where we're at, because when she showed me with the pendulum, I want her to show me again. Somebody says, a message was sent from above. I have been told to convey this message with everyone here on earth by being of light, whom goes by the name Archangel Michael to do not worry, everything will be. Yes, do not worry because everything will be okay. We will survive. We will survive. We always been surviving. We will win this. Okay, we will win. We are already won. We're breaking down the foundation of the structure as a collective. They're running scattered like they're running scared. That's why they're having all these psyops every week, every day. These psyops is because we're already won. 441. Thank you guys so much. This is Jennifer Phyllis, you guys. You guys have a wonderful day, my beautiful souls.